This little fella here looks harmless enough until it grabs your workpiece, launches it across the shed, and you find yourself having to change your underpants. Back in a sec. Slowly, slowly, careful. Ooh. G'day folks, Uncle Knackers here. Now look, forget everything what you've just seen, because today I'm going to be showing you 5 awesome, where is it? There it is, 5 awesome trim router tips that'll have you looking like an absolute pro, even if you have no idea what you're doing. And make sure you stick around right to the end of the video for the bonus tip, where you'll be sitting around scratching your head thinking to yourself, why didn't I think about that earlier? Alrighty, let's kick the show off with tip number 1. Yo! As a beginner, when first starting out using your trim router for cutting dadoes, quickly, accurately, and more importantly, safely for things like bookshelves or cabinetry has always proven to be a little bit tricky until you can make yourself one of these. Now the genius behind this dado jig is that you place it over the edge of the shelf that you want to install, pull both sides of the jig in opposite directions until it firmly and snugly fits to the exact size of the width of the board. Then tighten all 4 knobs, remove the jig and place it on the mark where you want your dado to be cut. Square it all up, clamp it in place, and away you go. Now for this type of operation, you'll need a flush trim router bit with a bearing on the top which runs on the inside edges of the jig. And as you can see, it works like a charm. Too easy, lemon squeezy. Now having the ability to cut a nice smooth rounded corner on your workpiece is a great skill to have, but for the beginner that can be a bit daunting and intimidating, unless of course you have one of these, which is a radius cutting template that is suitable for your trim router, and I'll show you how to use it. Now what I love about these jigs is that they come with different size radiuses. Currently I'm rocking a 25mm radius which I've screwed in place, but they also come in 20, 15 and 10mm radiuses. And I'm pretty sure you can also purchase these with imperial measurements as well. Now these radius cutting jigs are generally used on a router table, but you can use your router freehand, and I'll show you how to set one of these up. Simply place it on top of the workpiece that you want to cut a corner on, pull it hard up against those 2 edges, making sure that these 2 corners here are nice and flush, and then just simply clamp that down and you're good to go. Now just before we make our cut, I like to debulk that corner, which will get rid of all those sharp gnarly bits, which will make it easier to cut around the corner. And there you have it, a beautifully rounded corner. Awesome. Just very quickly, if you're enjoying what you've seen so far and would like to see more, do yourself a favour, hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell, that way you won't miss out on any more videos that are coming up down the track, and you'll also be doing me a massive favour. Alrighty, good stuff. Back to the video. Cutting a rebate or a rabbet, which is a 2-sided checkout, with your handheld trim router has never been easier with this easy to make rebate cutting jig. Starting from the outside of the rebate, clamp the jig in place with the outside of the router bit cutout lined up to the edge of the workpiece. Make the cut and then reposition the jig, this time with the inside edge of the router bit cutout lining up to the mark that you want to cut. Clamp the jig down and away you go. And there you have it. Perfect rebates every single time. And just in case you're wondering why I put that hole in the centre, well, that's for one of those thin F-style guide rail clamps that go in and then clamp things off. They're really good, and I'll link to one down below. Now, as you can see, the base that comes with your trim router or palm router is pretty small, and for the beginner, that can be a little unstable. But don't get me wrong, the small base does have its purpose, as it lets you get into a lot of tight spaces and is ideal for more intricate, detailed work. But when it comes to a situation where you're doing something like putting an edge on a long board, do yourself a favour and replace the base with a wider one, which you can make yourself out of a sheet of acrylic. The trick is to hold the base plate down flat with one hand and control the router with the other. So as you can see, with the wider base, you have greater stability and you also have more control over your router, and you'll finish up with a nicer cut. How's this? I was watching the news last night, and apparently historians have just discovered the skeletal remains of a 12-inch king. By all accounts, he was a terrible king, but an excellent ruler. Excellent ruler. Classic. Now, as you've probably already guessed, I really like my trim router / palm router. But did you know that this little fella can also be used to decorate things like a panel or a cabinet door, just like this one here? Well, you can. It's really easy, and I'll show you how. Let's go. Now, the first thing you may want to do is lay down some scrap that you don't mind screwing into. Then cut some strips and frame around the panel that you want to decorate, making sure that the frame is higher than the panel. That way the router can use it as a guide to follow. Next up, we want to stick down some blocks of equal size in each corner with some double-sided tape. This will give the panel the curved corner look that I'm after. With everything screwed and taped down, it's time to run the router around the edges of the frame that we just screwed into place. Now take your time and keep the router hard up against the formwork, as this is the critical step. There you have it, folks. A very simple and effective way to make a pattern on a panel or a cabinet door. But I do have a little confession to make. Check this out. As I was trying to maneuver the router and myself around the camera on the top left-hand side of the panel, I accidentally dug the router into the side there and there, which I have to say was very disappointing. Which just goes to show that when doing a job like this, you need to have total clearance around the entire job, and your concentration needs to be on 100%. Alrighty, I think it's time for that bonus tip. Yo! Without doubt, one of the most asked questions when using your router is, what way are you supposed to use it? Do you push or do you pull? Basically, the rule is when going around the outside, you cut in a counterclockwise direction. Whereas if you're cutting on the inside, you'll be going in a clockwise direction. And here's the tip to help you remember that I guarantee you'll never forget. Standing in front of your workpiece and with your right hand only, stick out your thumb and point out your index finger. Then place it on the outside, and your index finger will then indicate which way the router needs to travel. Now do the same on the inside, and once again with the index finger that will indicate which way the router needs to go. Now, how simple was that? Great tip, knackers! Now, if you want to see more router type content, make sure you check out my other router video, which should be popping up over there. Alrighty, after all that, I think I need a cup of tea. So till next time, be good, be safe, and I'm out of here. Cheers.